So you're setting up your first short-term rental. It's exciting, right? You've probably spent hours, maybe even weeks, thinking about how it all looks. But here's a little secret that separates the pros from the beginners. There is a huge difference between a property that's ready for photos and one that's ready for an actual guest.
And this right here, this is the whole ball game. Being photo ready gets you the booking, I get it. But being guest ready, that's what gets you that glowing 5-star review. Honestly, understanding this one difference is probably the single biggest mindset shift you can make to start thinking like a professional from day one.
I mean, think about it for a second. Your guests, they aren't just scrolling through pictures on a screen. They're actually living in your space. They're trying to find an outlet to charge their phone after a long day of traveling. They're hoping for a really good night's sleep. And you better believe they are counting on that Wi-Fi to work. That is the real experience.
Okay, so let's dive in and really tackle this photo-ready myth head-on. Because believing that style is all that matters, well, that's one of the costliest mistakes a new host can make, not just in money, but in your reviews, too. You've seen it before, right? That absolutely stunning designer sofa that looks incredible in the photos, but feels like you're sitting on a rock. That is photo-ready. Now, guest-ready, that's the super comfortable bed with charging points easily accessible on both sides. See the difference? It's about a space that doesn't just look good, but a space that feels good to actually be in. This quote right here, this is what you need to remember. Your style, that's what grabs their attention and gets them to click book. But it's the function, how everything actually works, that protects their experience and earns you that amazing review. This is what separates the amateurs from the pros. So when you adopt this professional mindset, you naturally start prioritizing how the space is going to work for a real person. It's all about designing a smooth, comfortable, and honestly an easy experience, from the moment they check in to the moment they leave. Which, of course, leads to the big question. How do you actually do that? How do you go beyond just making things look pretty and build a space that truly works? Well, it really helps to have a framework. And here it is, a super simple but really powerful way to guide your decisions. I call it the guest-ready setup lens. Before you buy a single thing for your property, just run it through these 4 filters. Is it comfortable? Is it functional? Is it essential? And is it easy to use? This little lens will help you cut through the noise and focus on what really matters. Now, once you have that framework, the next step is to get specific, because a truly great setup isn't one size fits all. No way. It has to be tailored to the needs of your ideal guest. I mean, just look at this. A couple on a romantic getaway has totally different needs than a family on vacation or someone on a work trip. If you try to please everybody, you're going to end up pleasing nobody. Figure out who your ideal guest is and design a space that they will absolutely love. And that brings us to something that so many new hosts miss. The foundation of an amazing stay. It's not built on fancy, decorative things, no. It's built on getting the absolute essentials right every single time. These things right here, they're non-negotiable. Guests will forgive you if you don't have designer furniture, but they will never forgive a lumpy mattress or Wi-Fi that keeps cutting out. Get these basics locked down before you spend a single penny on anything else. Okay, so once you've got that solid foundation of essentials, then you can start focusing on the small details. And these are the thoughtful little touches that take an experience from just good to great, and they make your guests feel like you actually care. Look, none of these are mind-blowing on their own, but think about it. When you get there and there are lamps on both sides of the bed, enough hangers in the closet, and hooks for your towels in the bathroom, it just adds up. It makes the whole property feel considered. And when a place feels considered, guests feel way more confident that they made the right choice. All right, let's flip the coin for a second. What happens when all those little details are ignored? Well, that's where guest friction comes in. It's this pile-up of small annoyances that can completely ruin a stay. It starts the second they walk in the door, and there's nowhere to put down their suitcase. Then later, they realize there are no outlets by the bed to charge their phone. The next morning, sunlight streams in because the curtains don't really close all the way. And when they go to make coffee, the pan is all scratched up and there's no sugar. See? Individually, each one is just a small annoyance, but together, it's like death by 1,000 cuts, and it's a surefire way to tank your review. All that friction isn't just a bad feeling for the guest, it is a direct hit to your business. A poor setup basically guarantees you're going to get complaints and weak reviews. But a great setup? That's your secret weapon. It leads to glowing reviews and a much smoother, more profitable operation. And this is exactly why we need to think of our setup as more than just getting the place ready. It's a powerful business tool that affects everything, from your income to how much time you have to spend managing things.
So let's redefine what setup means. It's not about decorating. It is a strategic process of preparing a space for real-world use in a way that cuts down on guest friction, protects your reviews, and honestly, just makes your life easier.
At the end of the day, a strong setup is really all about empathy. It's about putting yourself in your guests' shoes and thinking about what they actually need to feel comfortable and relaxed. That's the difference between a property that's just a place to sleep and one that truly feels like a home away from home. So, I'll leave you with this. Before you buy one more throw pillow or piece of art, just walk through your own space like you're a guest and ask yourself this one simple question. Does this space just look good, or does it actually feel good to stay in? Your answer to that question is going to be the foundation of your success.